Well, apparently someone smelled blood in the water. New York billionaire and former New York City mayor Michael Bloomberg is about to announce that he's jumping in the race to be president of the United States of America. Obviously, I have many thoughts on this, but every now and then it pays to go to the man himself. What does Donald Trump think about former New York City mayor and billionaire Michael Bloomberg?
So I've known Michael Bloomberg for a long time. If you go back early on, he said a lot of great things about Trump. But I know Michael, he became just a nothing. He was really a nothing. He's not going to do well, but I think he's going to hurt Biden, actually. But he doesn't have the magic to do well. Little Michael will fail. He'll spend a lot of money. He's got some really big issues. He's got some personal problems, and he's got a lot of other problems. But I know Michael Bloomberg fairly well, not too well, fairly well, well enough. He will not do very well. And if he did, I'd be happy. There is nobody I'd rather run against than little Michael, that I can tell you.
There's nobody better at branding than Donald Trump. And look, we shouldn't be surprised at that. For even the people who hate him, you really should acknowledge the fact the guy has spent 73 years of his life branding. That's what he does. There's Trump all over every building. Trump course, Trump golf course, Trump tower, Trump. The guy knows how to brand himself. He knows how to brand other people. And it's why those nicknames of his, those, stupid little immature nicknames, they're effective. They actually matter. It's not politics as usual, so it makes, the pinky out crowd very uncomfortable. But crooked Hillary matters. When he calls people sloppy, that matters. When he calls little Michael Bloomberg, it matters. Have you seen Michael Bloomberg stand up? We don't have short presidents. We've never had one in the television age. And I promise you, Michael Bloomberg will not be the first because he's about 5 feet tall. At least that's what he looks like. So that little thing is really going to get to Bloomberg as well. But you have to appreciate Trump's subtle little digs as well. And he's got some personal problems. I'm not going to go into it. But anyway, a New York Times reporter came out, and he seemed to be the one that scooped this story, which means Michael Bloomberg leaked in the story. Here's what he had to say.
He has been doing consistent polling in recent weeks to examine this race, to see if there's an opening, to check in on the state of the field. He sees Biden as much weaker than he was at the start of the year, though not by any means a cooked goose. And he looks at the lefty candidates in the primary and says, I don't think these people can win the general election. Some of this may be Mike Bloomberg, who's always wanted to run for president, looking for reasons to run for president, but he is seeing reasons that he didn't see at the beginning of the year.
Okay, let's unpack this really quickly. This is my theory that Michael Bloomberg and this reporter are working together, or at least Bloomberg teed it up for him. You notice how during his announcement there, the reporter was already basically campaigning for Bloomberg. Well, he's got a bunch of polling. He's done a bunch of polling, and he thinks Joe Biden is done. And that's practically a Michael Bloomberg campaign speech. That's one. But two, the main reason Michael Bloomberg is running to be president of the United States, well, there's two reasons. One, it is what he said there. The Democrat field is weak. Do you remember a couple weeks ago, of course, on this show, we talked about the fact that there was a high-end, big donor New York City meeting amongst a bunch of billionaires, supposedly, and they all got together in a room trying to work out, okay, this field's not good. Who do you have? I've got Biden. You have Warren? And you know what they all came up with? We are in very serious trouble. We have a Democrat Party that is desperate. We have mega Democrat donors who write mega checks to people. They're desperate. They know that this field is not going to be able to beat Donald Trump. And look, with the economy like this, nobody's going to be able to beat Donald Trump. That's what I believe. But back to the original story here. Was Michael Bloomberg one of those donors? I have no earthly idea. I could probably just make something up right now. Why not? Every other journalist in America does. But I won't do that. I'll just say this. One, he does see a weak field. Two, he's a billionaire, and he's the former mayor of New York City. You have to understand, mayor of New York City is not like the mayor of Sheboygan. When you are in New York City, and I dearly love it, I'm not insulting the city, I love New York City. When you are in there, you feel like you are in your own separate world. And New Yorkers, as much as I love them as well, They feel like they are the center of the world. You know why New Yorkers are a little bit cocky? Pretty quick to give you the finger? They feel like they're better than you. I love that about them. I enjoy cocky. I love the food. I love the people. I love the fast pace. Again, that's not an insult to New York City. So Michael Bloomberg's sitting there and he's thinking to himself, well, I mean, I got a bunch of money. I was mayor of New York City. Not getting any younger, getting up there in years. You know what? I don't like Donald Trump. You know, I've got more money than Donald Trump. And Michael Bloomberg is going to run for president of the United States, not just to seek the next thing. He's going to do it for the same reason most guys do most things. For the same reason I'm going to wake up tomorrow morning and I'm going to grab my golf clubs and I'm going to walk out of the house. Because he's bored. Because he wants something to do. When you've reached the mountaintop of mayor of New York City and you're a billionaire and you've got your houses on every beach in the world and you spend your time on private jets and lots and you've been the king of your own little kingdom, you eventually look around and think, are there any more worlds to conquer? So Bloomberg is like, yeah, I'll be president.